Hello everyone, I'm Chester44, also known as Fly, and welcome to this Let's Play of Citizen Sleeper 2. Last episode, we went to try and get to the Aphelion, and while we did manage to find its remains, well, it ended up in a three-way standoff between Vesna, the singers, and Eugene, and us. We were willing to give it away. Eugene almost wasn't, and he shot at Vesna. She survived and ran off once Conway decided to show up and try and get it. And we managed to talk Eugene down from going after it. So now the singers are going to extract it and get away with it before Conway shows up. That said, what we have left to do is now return to the Greenway. I'm going to use up these dice just to, do some things here. Why not? It'll get us some money, which we can use to refill everything. Okay, align the arrays here. Perfect. Now, go over here, fill up on fuel, and then go over here, refill our supplies. You know what? We did do a fair bit. I'll go ahead and use one of the supplies here. Stray fed. And once again, fill up on supplies. And now, let's head over to the Greenbelt. The biosphere, once barren, is transformed. Where it was once dry and gray, it now swirls with amber dust, a hazy cloud cut through with the bone-white tendrils of steppe silk. Aki, in mask and goggles, lets the biosphere's circulating air play with the end of her scarf, twirling and twisting, even threatening to rip it from her neck. That scarf, she has explained, is woven from the bast fibers of the steppe silk itself. That is why this place is known as Weaver's Fields, for the workshops of Greenbelt residents creating fabric from its steppe silk fibers, weavers who fled from Ember Steppe, and those taught afresh by Aki herself. Isn't it beautiful? Aki asks, her eyes glowing. Ember Steppe reborn on this rock, but not as an archive, as something new. The plants themselves are reconfigured. The steppe silk adapts well to the microgravity, even thrives, and the dust itself becomes a cloud that surrounds it. Aki points to a tendril stretching across the space. What was once a burrowing plant is now a bridging plant. Like us, it projects itself across empty space, pushing out into its new conditions. Aki looks at you. Sorry, I'm rambling. This place does that to me. It is beautiful. Aki bows. Thank you. I'm glad you like it. Let's leave the dust house. We can talk more easily outside. She shepherds you through some nearby double doors, the space between blasting you with air to clean away the dust. You find yourself in a sparse room, racks of unfamiliar tools on the wall, slit-like windows looking out into the amber dust storm. This is just the beginning for us. Aki has slipped off her mask and her voice is crisp and bright above the rumbling of the air recyclers. The steppe silk is already being harvested, retted, and woven. This is no synthetic fiber from the dark side looms. This is a natural fabric out here in this unnatural wet place. Aki brushes a little dust away. We will trade it and get what Greenbelt needs to stay stable, to feed its people. I am the administrator, but the workers are the owners here, and we will make a future for ourselves from our work. We control our path. What more could we want? Silence falls in the room. The idea of such a future so desirable that it is almost painful. An idea that haunts you. You can spend as much time here as you like. Aki breaks the silence, somehow aware of your thoughts. I find the noise soothes me. Thank you. Aki bows gently. There's something you want to ask me. She smiles. I can see it right there on the tip of your tongue. Explain about Nimba. Aki listens carefully as you talk about the refugees in the Far Spindle and the possibility of setting up a mutual relationship between them and Greenbelt. The Far Spindle is a long way from here. Come find me in my unit later. We can discuss more then. You leave Aki in her dust house, surrounded by the landscape of her homeworld. One of many creatures born on that parched moon that is in the process of transforming into something new. That is wonderful to see. A major drive complete, and another one will be complete soon. Still, it is very nice to be able to see it, able to make something else. Aki's unit. Aki is working in her unit. Now the steppe silk is established in Greenbelt stable, it seems like the right time to bring her Nimba's spores. Which I shall do. Aki looks at the crate of spores with a mix of curiosity and skepticism. The well-traveled crate does appear very rough at this point. Come in. The door of Aki's unit slides open, and you see her perched at a terminal, her face pale in the blue light of the screen. You have not seen her in this setting before. She seems paler, older when she isn't surrounded by the soft light of the biomes. Just one moment. Her eyes do not leave the screen, and she leans in closer, squinting at some detail. You get the sense that this is her least favorite part of her administrative position. Done. Immediately, her eyes are drawn to the crate you carry. What have you brought me? A gift. She raises her eyebrows. From who? Let me see. As she unlocks the worn catches on the crate, you explain about Nimba and his work to feed the refugees in the underhang. You aren't sure Aki is listening, though. She seems too eager to see what's inside the crate. Aki manages to get the lid open and lifts a dented canister out of the inside. She turns it, peering through the small windows at the dusty-looking translucent sheet curled inside. Spore prints. She looks at you. This is quite a gift. From this Nimba, you said. She carefully slots the canister away. We will make good use of these. The tunnels under Greenbelt will make an excellent mushroom garden. She smiles to herself. I was lucky enough to be taught how to tend mushrooms by a true expert. Who is that? Someone from my journey here. A botanist on Erlin's Eye. She was very kind to us. She would have liked to meet you. I guess she passed on. I would like to meet Nimba. Perhaps we can find some commonality. She glances over her shoulder at her terminal. But I can't leave Greenbelt, not now. She looks at you sheepishly. I am a little nervous to ask this of you, given your ferrying back and forth of messages and deliveries, but would you bring Nimba here so we can speak? Gladly. I hoped that would be the case. A shrill beep begins emanating from Aki's terminal. The Weavers. I need to speak to them. You make your way out of the unit as Aki takes a deep breath, then accepts the incoming transmission. One more run from Greenbelt to the Far Spindle and back again. At least you aren't carrying spores this time. Indeed. Let's refill on fuel again. Isn't really anything else we can do here. So, that handled. Can I go all the way up here? Surprisingly, yes. And I do need to get something from Holmes Rock. We have enough fuel to make the trip, so let's do it. The old relay. Pulling a clean array from the Solheim relay is a tricky job. especially given the state of the facility. Well, you can cut the connections. Within the relay, there are multiple arrays that Kimball could use. You need to find and cut out the best one. Or, the arrays in the relay are hooked up to the old terminal. Safely disengaging these will allow a clean extraction. Well, that shouldn't be too hard. Looks like we'll need to be here a cycle. No biggie. And... E! You activate a terminal and it fries a connected array. Time to try another one. Well, crap. Okay, in that case, jeez, I can't see. Ooh, we actually can use this old fabricator a few more times. Which will get us rare components. We haven't used that many of them, but... Six, 4, and this is the last one. The machine's okay. It's colorful machines collapsing, and that is completely out. Can't do any more there. The machine has burnt out its servo motors. Its printing days are sadly over. Unfortunate, but what you're gonna do. Okay, we can go ahead and take a rest. Scavenge for fuel. That seems like a good idea to me. Oh! Yujin finds you in a quiet corner of the rig. Seraphin just gave me something I think you need to see. Yujin has been uncharacteristically quiet since your journey to the Aphelion Path's resting place, and even now, there is a seriousness to him that you do not recognize. He produces a personal terminal, a slate, and shows you the screen. On it is a message from the singers, from Peter. I am pleased to report the Fraction Drive's extraction was a success. You hear the gravelly voice in your mind as you read. Thanks to your choice to concede. Conway attempted pursuit, but Singer ships are fast and quiet, and we soon lost them in the debris. You smile. Peter's arrogance is clear, even in writing. We have now begun on the project to implement and expand the Fraction Drive, which is why I am writing to you. Encrypted with this message is a full scan of the drive itself, its components, and systems. You exchange a glance with Yujin. I believe you deserve as much for your integrity in our encounter. I'm glad we didn't have to kill you. What you do with the plans is up to you, but I would recommend you do not attempt to sell or publish them unless you wish to attract further attention from Conway. The Singers will soon leave Hellion, and in part, we have to acknowledge your role in making this possible. We wish you safe passage on your journey. Peter. At the bottom of the message, a handful of encrypted files open up to reveal an insanely complex set of scans and diagrams. The Fraction Drive. You look up at Yujin, who has a sharp smile on his face. The bastard did it. He shakes his head. And I have you to thank for stopping me from killing him. Can we build this? I'm no engineer, but perhaps? He squints at the diagrams. We would need a lot of resources and the kind of machines only found in places like Darkside. With time, research, who knows? Yujin grins. The point is, it's possible. We have the plans. The path is there. You see it now, Yujin's swagger returning. For better or worse, this project fuels him. It's on the back burner for now. We have more important immediate things to deal with. He slips the terminal away. But I will start calling in favors, quietly, investigating how real this is. Do it carefully. He nods. I have learnt my lesson. Yujin frowns, something dark crossing his face. Look, I know this is exciting, but we know what people did to claim this drive. What I did. Yujin taps at the terminal. Part of me wants to delete these right now. They make me afraid of what I'll do to fulfill them. It won't be like that. Perhaps you are right. I want to believe it. He slips the slate away. The way you treat me, it makes me believe something. His brow knits, his own words irritating him. But I'm not sure what it is. And I'm not much of a believer. Yujin looks down. You can see he is fighting with himself. I don't like to owe people. He pats you on the shoulder. But for you, I will make an exception. With that, he turns away, gliding back through the ship and out of sight. A fraction drive of your own. A machine to cut a path through the stars. You shake your head. It's hard not to dream. But you have seen the danger of that dream too, what it drove Yujin and others to do. Perhaps together you can keep each other on that narrow path to the future without straying into obsession. Or perhaps, thinking of those impossibly complex plans, it will never come to pass. Are they a diagram of your future, or a labyrinth to become lost in? The only way to know is to live it, together. Major drive complete, and with that, I can now get a +1 bonus to my engage. Now to start saving up so I can get the +2 bonuses for Intuit, then Engineer, then Engage. That will make me happy. Again, I've barely been touching these because I just don't see as much need to. Anyway, we managed to get some fuel. Now let's finish cutting this thing out. Shouldn't take long. There we go. And I'll use up the 1. There we go. We have the wide beam array. Powerful Solheim communications array from Holmes Rock. Now you just need to get it back to Kimball. Which we can do in a minute. First things first, I'm going to go ahead and use up the rest of these dice. And there we go. That's some more money. Let's go ahead and buy some more fuel. Refill on that. And now we travel back to Far Spindle. Oh! You are the first to notice them. Small, white, smooth shapes at the boundaries between hull plates and the seams of paneling curling out from beneath vents. Mushrooms dotted here and there all across the cargo bay. Mushrooms growing on your ship. This doesn't seem very hygienic. Bliss floats next to you, surveying the scattering of pale caps in the cargo bay. It's hard not to agree, although you doubt spores and fungi can have a significant effect on your body. Not that you've risked it before. We should vent the cargo bay. Seraphin's voice crackles through the cargo bay's speakers. He's flying the ship, but you updated him on your new passengers. This is what comes from having spores in wonky crates sitting in your bay cycle after cycle. Bliss shrugs. They don't seem to be hurting anyone. They float over to a cap and tear it off at the stem. We know from Nemba that these are edible, so... We could farm them? We are always short of supplies. Seraphin's voice buzzes through the speakers. But a few caps don't make a meal. Bliss inspects the cap. I do like a good mushroom. They sniff it. Back on the eye, they had these matsutake that smelled amazing. You look over the cargo bay. It doesn't get used much. Most of your halls fit comfortably in one quarter. There's plenty of room to isolate a little growing area, maybe with some plastic sheets. Or you could just open the hatch and let the void of space sterilize the whole place for you as you fly. After all, if these things get into the air recyclers, you could have a serious problem on your hands. And who knows what they might do to the wiring. You doubt either decision will bother Nemba, at least. His spores are delivered, and you have a free hand to choose. Keep the mushrooms. Bliss holds the cap to their mouth, then thinks better of it. They squint at you. Are you sure? Yep, keep them. We'll still need to figure out how to harvest and prepare them. Bliss slips the cap into a pocket. But I think it's a good call. You hope they're right. This rig is busy enough without adding extra ecosystems into the mix. As you leave the cargo bay, you suddenly realize you've taken on yet another project. It's becoming a habit. Yeah, why not? Does this open up something we can do? Rig cargo bay. It turns out that turning a cargo bay into a mushroom farm is more work than you thought. This will take a while. Well, part of the job of preparing the bay is finding all the stray cats that you don't want to take root and pulling them out, and putting up plastic sheeting to isolate a section of the bay for farming is a big job, and it just takes focus and patience. That's something we'll be able to spare some time to do. For now, however, to Nemba's kitchen. Nemba congratulates you on arranging the meeting. Now you just need the fuel to get him to Greenbelt to meet Aki. We need a load of fuel. Can do. Fill the fuel. There we go. I am going to go ahead and use these. Well, actually, I'm going to feed the stray. Then we can go ahead and find the caps. It says risky. I'm pretty sure the riskiness is only loss of energy. Yep, it's loss of energy. Okay, let's buy some more energy. Or regain some energy with our food. Okay, let's go ahead with this some more. And I'm going to use one to isolate the bay with a normal. There we go. We'll fix that up later. Now then, Nemba! Here's the fuel. We're ready to leave. Oh, we're just there. You wake to something soft and furry rubbing against your nose. You sit bolt upright. The stray kicks off from your bunk and settles on the ceiling, back curled up, looking down at you accusingly with those big eyes. Sorry about that. The stray gently pushes off the ceiling with a soft paw and descends to the edge of your bunk, where it hooks its front claws into the mattress pad. Seeing the cat move in zero-G is still odd. It seems to come naturally to it, and yet its shape is so connected to gravity and weight in your mind. A cat should have the heavy, soft form of a mammal, not the languid, liquid presence of the floating thing in front of you. The stray uses its hooked claws to twist and spin itself, so it softly glides against you with its back, rubbing against your arm and purring. You know what it wants. Pet the stray. You run a hand down its back and it shifts its spine in a fluid motion of appreciation. The stray closes its eyes and purrs. It's funny to think how the stray got out here. Perhaps on a ship from the inner system, slipping on at the Eye or Sintra, and before that, its ancestors were perhaps carried out to Helion by Solheim executives who had the power and arrogance to bring a cat into space. But this cat, the one on your ship, was born here. That much is obvious. It is a creature of zero gravity, a being that orbits and glides, not one that leaps and stalks. It pats at your hand, encouraging you to continue petting. It is an animal that is part of the crew now. Can't imagine the rig without her. As you look down at the stray, as nameless and inhuman as you are, the memory returns. The warmth of atmosphere-filtered sun, the weight of flesh and fur, the smell of growing things. You know now what this memory is. It couldn't be more obvious. It is a memory that crossed the gap of your creation, a memory from the mind that was copied, emulated, to make your own. It is part of you. This memory is, in the end, a mistake. Those who designed the sleepers never intended you to carry the memories of the minds that were copied for your creation. They wanted you to emerge as new beings, offshoots from the branch of a human's life, to be cut short when needed. But mistakes can so often become the most powerful and meaningful of emblems. They can guide a being more strongly than any success ever could. That's because at the heart of every mistake is the possibility of change, of a shift in the status quo. You have lived a life of mistakes as much as a life of successes, and look where it has brought you. And the cat's in the way. The cat is actually here right now. My cat. So you accept the memory. Let it wash over you like the sun. You focus on the stray, and as you do, both memories combine. You are stroking both cats, separated by time and space, feeling both sets of sensations in double exposure. This doubling is what defines you. You are multiple, branched, diverse. You make no apologies for this, and you know that you will only accumulate more selves, more variants as you persist. You claim the mistake and the possibility it offers you. You settle in your birth, delaying the moment of waking, of greeting the cycle a little longer, sharing an unspoken solidarity with the stray that is more expansive than any words could capture. And then, Aki comes to greet Nemba at the entrance to Greenfields. You can tell she is in full administrator mode. Her bows are precise, her words carefully chosen, but her manner is not without its distinctive warmth. Nemba responds in kind, taking a diplomatic tone, but with a wry grin for her benefit. As Aki provides a tour, you watch them from one of the bridges, their conversation muffled by the greenery all around. They both look at home amongst the growing things, hands reaching out to touch stray leaves, faces dappled with sunlight. When Nemba returns afterwards, you aren't surprised to see him pleased. Plans are in motion, Sleeper. Nemba smiles for a moment and then catches himself. Optimistic plans. What did Aki offer? She graciously offered a regular supply of steppe silk cloth for clothing and construction of shelters in the bays of the underhang. We are also going to see about settling people here in Greenbelt, to work with the farmers. It is always a little strange to talk like this about the lives of people who have been exposed to so much suffering, but we do them no benefit to couch our words in platitudes. Nemba looks out at the green fields. Aki understands that. She is a refugee herself. She fled her moon many cycles ago. We share that as well. You never said that I was a refugee. Would it have made you treat me differently? Sorry, I am being unfair. I just find there is an expectation that if I am a refugee, I must be desperate. I must beg for aid, show my suffering. I prefer to make plain requests, or even better, strong demands. You think of the back-and-forth journeys made for both Aki and Nemba, and the aid that was asked of you. Would you have done the same if the request hadn't been so strong? The demands so obvious? Speaking to Aki, I could see she has experienced the same treatment, though I think she is less hardened by it. We both have our own reasons to do what we do, for why we enjoy it in our own ways. We don't need to explain ourselves to others. Nemba looks over his glasses at you. I am glad to have met her. Thank you for your part of it. I'm glad to help. What I like about you, Sleeper, is that I believe you when you say that. Nemba smiles wryly. I will stay a little longer. Aki has promised to send me back to the far spindle with the first shipment of fabric. I will then gather those who wish to come here and send them back in the same freighter. He smiles warmly at the view of the green fields. The exchange begins. The work never ends. You say your goodbyes and leave Nemba on the bridge, enjoying the dappled light. After all the shuttling of spores across the belt, you finally have a clear view of Aki and Nemba and their response to their own hardship. They are not saints, acting from a position of purity, but pragmatists, with an intent to change those things that once marked them. The future they will build together is one you are eager to see. Hey, another drive complete. And we have something else we'll be able to do. First things first, let's go ahead and fill up on fuel. Very cheap and effective. And I'll buy more supplies. That said, we can spend a bit more on here. Find more caps. There we go. Very nice. One more, if it's a full success. Ooh, that was a failure. That's actually bad. There we go. The farm is ready. Now it's time to figure out how to harvest. There are no more mushrooms in the farm. You'll need to wait for some to grow. The farm is working, but you'll have to wait for fruiting bodies to grow before you can harvest them for supplies. I guess that's something we'll be doing sometime in the future. And while we can actually... The stray is part of the crew now, but she still likes to spend time in her little nest in the supply store. So we could feed her sometime in the future. For now, however, we have one more place to go before I end the episode. The Hollow. We have to hand this thing in. let the episode go a little longer as I get this handed. Helion dispatches. Here's the array. You provided the array. Kimball just needs to get it running. You wait in the makeshift Helion dispatches studio as Kimball tinkers with the array somewhere in the back, behind the far wall. It's a humble setup. A stool for Cyrene, a microphone, the transmitter and mixer terminal, and the hardline snaking away towards the hardline snaking away towards the array. But there's something pleasing about it all the same. The crackling sound of fresh welds echoes through the bay from Kimball's concealed position. You hope the array you struggle to extract isn't getting fried as you wait. You're here! Good. Cyrene rushes in, holding a small dark rectangle in her hand. You will not believe what we have on here. Where's Kimball? Installing the array. You mean... Cyrene smiles. We're going back on air? Ha ha! Before you can answer, she leaps forward, grabbing you in a surprisingly firm hug. Cyrene lets you go. Sorry. Just excited to finally be back. Kimball! She shouts toward the back of the bay. How long for that new array? A muffled shout comes from behind the rear wall. Okay. We have a little time. What have you got there? This broadcast is from Erlin's Eye. We haven't heard anything out of them since the start of the war. Some people even said they've fallen to the flux. But something is happening there. Something is growing. This report says some protocol has taken over the station, become its protector. Conway drones can't get close. Senate-Stat is giving it a wide berth. Ah! They're right in the middle of the war. Conway on the starward side, Senate-Stat on the sunward, and they are resisting. Cyrene smiles. We have to tell everyone in the belt about this. We have to get the word out. If the eye can be held, well, maybe we can hold out too. Cyrene looks at the drive in her hand. Either way, people need to know. There's a sudden clunk, a few percussive shouts from Kimball, and then a flickering of lights all across the bay as the transmitter and array begin powering up. You and Cyrene watch as the Helion dispatches studio comes to life, ready to broadcast once more. Not bad. Cyrene leans on your shoulder. Not bad at all. A shout comes from Kimball, and you know he is calling for Cyrene to get ready. That's my signal. Oh, I almost forgot. Cyrene produces a handful of chits. Turns out we have some avid listeners in the Radius markets. She deposits them into your hands. All right. I need to go live. Thank you. I will make sure we make good use of that array. This will mean something. Kimball bellows something from the back of the room. Something you can only assume is a thank you. You lead the Belt's most unusual double act to their broadcast. And as you do, you hear Cyrene's voice echoing through the bay. This is Cyrene Sibirs, back on the air, to wish you all a free Helion, now and forever. And we have more upgrade points, which I am going to put right into it, actually. Perfect. And with that, I am going to end this episode here. That was a nice little run around to take care of things, but we've basically done all we can here. Next episode, it's time to head to the scatter yards. Need to find out what's going on there. But that'll be in the next episode. So, until then, I am Chefstick44, also known as Fly. This has been a Let's Play of Citizen Sleeper 2, and I shall see you all next time.